According to a global collaborative investigative project, Israeli spyware Pegasus was used to target at least 300 individuals in India. The government has claimed that all interception in India takes place lawfully.
हमारे यहाँ एक सिस्टम है, आज मंत्री जी ने बताया। वो सिस्टम ये है कि फोन को अगर टैप करना है या ट्रैक करना है तो टेलीग्राफ एक्ट के सेक्शन 5 में इस बात का प्रावधान है कि उसके लिए केंद्र के होम सेक्रेटरी या प्रदेश के होम सेक्रेटरी परमिशन देंगे।
So, what are the laws covering surveillance in India?
Communication surveillance in India is still primarily done under two legislations. One is an ancient, the Telegraph Act, which is an 1885 legislation. So this was a colonial legislation enacted to regulate sending telegrams in the country. This is when communications first started in the country. In that you have a section 5(2), which basically gives government the power to intercept messages. So the government can intercept certain messages between parties. So this, although that was originally envisaged for telegrams, the government has sort of read this to mean all communication, all text communication. So, or all, call communication. So if it's a phone call that the government has to intercept, it happens through the Telegraph Act.
Under this law, the government can intercept calls only in certain situations. The interests of the sovereignty and integrity of India, the security of the state, friendly relations with foreign states or public order, or for preventing incitement to the commission of an offence. These are the same restrictions imposed on free speech under Article 19(2) of the Constitution.
Under the Telegraph Act, Section 5(2) also has a proviso, or what you call an exception to the rule. And the proviso states that even lawful interception cannot happen against what they call journalists who are associated or accredited with the central government. This is basically to uphold media freedoms, but this is something that has never been sort of put to test or has been taken seriously, because this was also something that was enacted in 1885, remember, and hasn't been changed since then. The other sort of surveillance that happens is the electronic surveillance, which is any transmission of data, and all of that happens through the IT Act. The Information Technology Act, which was enacted in 2000, it has been amended subsequently a number of times. This Information Technology Act provides for other electronic surveillance. So if the government wants to tap into your WhatsApp communication, or the photos that you may be exchanging, or even your social media activity, all of that happens through the Information Technology Act. So if you look at how something like a Pegasus can be used for surveillance, the law that is required would be a combination of both the Telegraph Act and the Information Technology Act. In 1996, PUCL moved the Supreme Court in a public interest litigation. This happened after the CBI had made public a document on surveillance it was conducting. So after that, PUCL moved the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court sort of intervened and highlighted a number of lacunae in having only the Telegraph Act. And it also said that the rules in the Telegraph Act do not contain a good enough framework to protect an individual's right to privacy. So for example, the government or any government agency which is conducting the surveillance would have to maintain logs of any conversations that they've heard, or time logs of when exactly the surveillance was conducted, and all of these documents have to be stored and preserved, so on and so forth. So the Supreme Court said that none of these were happening, and the court sort of gave a series of guidelines for the government to follow. These guidelines basically culminated into the rules that we know in the Information Technology Act. So now the government is required to do all of these that the Supreme Court had pointed out earlier. Even under the Information Technology Act, the government has to necessarily put it in writing why they've chosen a subject for surveillance, and the Union Home Secretary will be the sanctioning authority who has to give permission for such a surveillance. Of course, these are confidential files that the Union government would maintain. It is primarily the Union Home Secretary who would be required to sign off on these. And when state governments want to initiate surveillance, some of these powers that the Union Home Secretary have would be assigned to other senior bureaucrats who would fall in that, who would fit that criteria. So till about 2000, till the Information Technology Act came into place, all surveillance sort of happened only through the Telegraph Act. And this obviously posed a problem because with the advent of computers, with the use of the web for communication, the government sort of ran into this problem about where do they draw the power to look into your social media accounts or email communication. Section 69 of the Information Technology Act, which is the provision under which electronic surveillance can take place, that provision also says that even for investigation of an offense, the government can invoke this provision and tap into electronic surveillance. So that gives the government sort of more reasons or a bigger reason to conduct this electronic surveillance. In 2012, the government also sort of undertook an exercise to see what are the lacunae or the gaps in this legal framework for surveillance in India. There was a commission set up under Justice A.P. Shah, former judge of the Delhi High Court, who highlighted that the rules do not sufficiently cover a few aspects, such as the granularity of information that can be collected, or just the type of interception, right? The Telegraph Act permits a certain type of interception, whereas the Information Technology Act permits certain type of interception. And sometimes there is a genuine confusion as to which law would apply. And the AP Shah committee highlighted a number of these gray areas and recommended a better legal framework. But in the absence of a data protection framework, which can sort of say comprehensively what forms part of a person's right to privacy and what doesn't, all these national security laws, such as surveillance, will still be under gray area. With this legal framework that exists for surveillance, a lot is untested territory. These have not been questioned in the Supreme Court, for example, on the grounds of privacy. And when that happens, Pegasus is an opportunity for that. We've already have journalist N. Ram Shashi Kumar move the Supreme Court, and when this happens, the surveillance laws will essentially be tested against the contours of the Constitution, where national security concerns and the right to privacy will have to be balanced.